Music and television changed forever in 1981 when MTV began by playing their first music video, Video Killed the Radio Star by the Buggles. This is what it was really like to be the first music video on MTV. By the mid-1970s, work-for-hire English bassist Trevor Horn had moved into production and opened a studio. He was tasked with putting together a touring band for his girlfriend at the time, pop singer Tina Charles. Keyboardist Jeff Downes auditioned, and they hit it off so well that he and Horn decided to form a band, bringing in guitarist Bruce Woolley. The three started jamming and writing music together. The third song they composed was Video Killed the Radio Star. Woolley soon dropped out, though, to pursue a solo career, so Horn and Downes continued as a duo. Horn told The Guardian, "I had this vision of the future where record companies would have computers in the basement and manufacture artists. With that in mind, they decided to style themselves as, quote, robot Beatles, and thus the Buggles were born." It took a while for the Buggles to finally get a record deal and release Video Killed the Radio Star, and the delay nearly derailed them, as their own cohort, Bruce Woolley, ended up recording his own version and rushing it to stores before the Buggles could get their single out. Luckily for the Buggles, though, Woolley's version failed to make an impact. The Buggles' attempt to get a record deal also paid unexpected dividends, as Horn ended up marrying Jill Sinclair, one of the executives who tried to sign the band. Eventually, they got a deal, but it still took 3 long months of work in the studio to perfect Video Killed the Radio Star before it was finally released in 1979. It was worth the effort. In September 1979, Video Killed the Radio Star spent a week at #1 on the singles chart in the Buggles' native United Kingdom, boosted by an appearance on the show Top of the Pops. Then the song hit big all around the world. Video Killed the Radio Star topped the localized pop chart in Ireland, Italy, Switzerland, France, Sweden, and Austria. It arguably did the best in Australia, where it not only hit #1 on the hit parade, but remained the most successful single in the country for nearly 3 decades. About the only place it wasn't a bankable hit was the United States, where it only reached number 40 on the charts. But Video Killed the Radio Star would get a second chance thanks to, appropriately enough, video itself. Though the Buggles lip-synced their hit on Top of the Pops, it wasn't their favorite thing to do, which is why the new idea of making a music video rather than performing live appealed so much to the group. Downes later told People, "We were not a live band, we were studio boys." So they decided to go all out with a shoot that cost a staggering amount for the time, $50,000, at a point where most music videos were just basic shots of the band singing. The Buggles, though, featured special effects, elaborate costumes, and even a cameo by future Oscar-nominated composer Hans Zimmer. One of the handful of pre-existing music videos MTV had in its possession when it began broadcasting in 1981 was the one for Video Killed the Radio Star. In retrospect, it seems like the obvious choice to kick off the channel, but program director Steve Casey said he had to fight for it. In the tell-all book, I Want My MTV, he said, "Nobody wanted to launch with Video Killed the Radio Star. They thought we had to play a hit. I said, nobody's going to be watching. It's symbolic." Casey's argument prevailed, and MTV Brass slated the video to be the first one it played. MTV co-founder Bob Pittman said, "It was too obvious not to do it. We didn't expect to be competitive with radio, but it was certainly a sea change kind of video."
What was the video, in your opinion, that absolutely changed the game forever?
The first one, the Buggles.
Despite how famous Video Killed the Radio Star is now for being the first MTV music video, being featured on MTV didn't really help the band much. By the time MTV debuted in 1981, the single was 2 years old and had long since dropped off the charts. The boost wasn't enough to return it to the charts, and whatever bump it may have provided didn't seem to help sales on their next album either. Adventures in Modern Recording was released in November 1981, just 3 months after MTV began broadcasting, but it only managed to reach number 161 on the American Billboard charts. One likely reason was a lack of support from the band itself, because by this point, there actually was no band. Horn and Downes both joined the band Yes in 1981 for a single year. By 1982, Horn had become a full-time producer, and Downes was busy founding the supergroup Asia. The Buggles disappeared as quickly as they arrived. Though they only had one hit that wasn't even a hit in the US, the Buggles and Video Killed the Radio Star continue to have a long legacy, thanks in part to the song's association with MTV. On February 26, 2000, the channel celebrated 1 million videos with a special broadcast, the millionth video being, of course, Video Killed the Radio Star. That clip is so associated with big MTV moments that other channels have adopted the tradition. When millennial-targeted cable network Pivot launched on August 1st, 2013, exactly 32 years to the day after MTV's debut, it did so with an airing of Video Killed the Radio Star. And when MTV Philippines went off the air in 2010, it faded away with Video Killed the Radio Star. Since then, the song has received a second, less savory life as a popular TikTok meme, making it clear that the Buggles are going to keep killing it forever, something that's fine with Horn.
It's a privilege to still be working it after all this time, you know?
Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more grunge videos about your favorite stuff are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.